stop what you are doing for the next 20 minutes. Because what I am about to show you is not about politics. It is not about who is right or wrong in the Middle East. It is about your money, your groceries, your job, your retirement account. And the clock is already ticking. Right now, as of this week, the average gallon of gas in America is up 80 cents in 18 days. But gas is just the beginning. And that is exactly what nobody is warning you about. And this is where it gets worse. Because what happened with gas in week 1 is about to happen with your groceries in week 4, with your electricity bill in week 6, with your mortgage rate in week 8, with your job security in week 12. 1 war, 4 waves. And most Americans are only seeing the first one. This has happened before. Not once, not twice, 5 times in the last 53 years. And every single time, the people who understood what was coming protected themselves. The people who did not paid for it for years. But nobody is talking about this part. Today, I am going to show you the full history. What happened to regular Americans in every single war for the last 50 years? And then I am going to show you exactly what is different and more dangerous about 2026, and the specific moves to protect your wallet before the next wave hits. Let us go. Before we go into the history, I need you to understand one thing. Every Middle East conflict for the last 50 years has followed the exact same 4-step playbook. Every single time. Step 1. Oil supply gets disrupted. Prices spike at the pump within days. Step 2. Diesel prices follow. Everything that moves on a truck, which is everything you buy, gets more expensive. Step 3. Food costs explode 4 to 8 weeks later. Step 4. Inflation heats up. Mortgage rates climb. Jobs disappear. Recession hits. Here is the real problem. We are currently in Step 1 moving into Step 2, right now. Which means you have a narrow window, maybe 3 to 6 weeks, to make moves that could save you thousands of dollars. Let me show you exactly what happens when people miss this window. October 1973. Egypt and Syria attack Israel. Arab nations cut off oil to the United States overnight. In 60 days, oil prices jumped 300%. Gas lines stretched around the block. Stations ran dry. The government rationed fuel. Odd-numbered license plates could only buy gas on odd-numbered days. And this is where it gets worse. Inflation hit double digits. Food prices jumped 16% in 1 year. The stock market lost years of gains and did not recover for 6 years. 6 years. Think about that. If you had money invested in 1973, you did not get it back until 1979. And the average American had absolutely no idea it was coming. They were living their normal lives, paying their normal bills, completely blindsided by what a war 7,000 miles away was doing to their kitchen table. The government knew the embargo was coming. Regular Americans found out at the gas pump. August 1990. Iraq invades Kuwait. The United States goes to war. Oil prices doubled in 3 months. Inflation jumped. The United States entered a recession, but nobody is talking about this part. The actual military conflict lasted only 100 hours. 100 hours of ground fighting. And yet the economic pain lasted 18 months. Let that sink in. The war ended. The prices stayed high. The recession continued. The layoffs kept coming. The average American family, who thought it was all over, was still paying the bill a year and a half later. The shooting stops. The financial damage does not. March 2003. The United States invades Iraq. This one is different, and it teaches a lesson that is directly relevant to your wallet right now. The Iraq War cost American taxpayers between $2 and $3 trillion. And here's the part that should make you angry. It was financed entirely through debt. First time in American history, a war was fought while simultaneously cutting taxes. Here is the real problem. That debt did not disappear. It quietly eroded your purchasing power for the next decade. Interest rates rose. The dollar weakened. Social programs got cut. The 2003 war did not immediately destroy your wallet. It slowly taxed it for 10 years, and you never saw it coming on any gas price sign. And right now, the first week of the Iran war already cost taxpayers upwards of $11 billion. That money has to come from somewhere. And historically, it always comes from you. February 2022. Russia invades Ukraine. You remember this one. Because you felt it. Grocery prices jumped 11% in 1 year. Mortgage rates doubled in 12 months. The average American family spent $5,000 more in 2022 on the exact same lifestyle they had in 2021. $5,000. Not on anything new, not on anything better, just to stay exactly where they were. And this is where it gets worse. The Ukraine war disrupted about 3% of global oil supply, and it caused the worst inflation in 40 years. The Iran war has already disrupted 20%, nearly 7 times more. And the Strait of Hormuz, which carries 1/5 of the world's oil, is effectively closed. We have not seen that since the 1980s. Nobody alive in the working world today has navigated this before, so we have seen 1973, 1990, 2003, 2022. Each one hurt. Now here is what is different in 2026. And I need you to pay very close attention here. Here is the real problem. Every previous war hit an economy that was standing. Savings rates were healthy. Consumer debt was manageable. People had margin. In 2026, before this war even started, 37% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency. Credit card debt had already hit an all-time high. Job growth was the weakest it had been outside a recession since 2002. We were already wounded. And now the hit has arrived. The people telling you not to panic. They already moved their money. The 1973 oil shock hit Americans who had savings, who had margin, who could absorb a few tough months. The 2026 Iran war shock is landing on households that are already at the edge. One unexpected bill away from crisis. That is why this is different. That is why the window is smaller. That is why you need to act now. Every previous war shocked an economy that was standing. This one is hitting an economy that is already on its knees. Now here is what you actually came for. Not fear, not history lessons. Specific, actionable moves you can make right now. Because understanding the pattern is only valuable if you use it before the next wave hits. Rule 1. Build your buffer before week 6. Here is what the history shows every single time. Gas prices hit immediately. That already happened. Grocery prices take 4 to 8 weeks. Electricity bills take 6 to 10 weeks. Broader inflation takes 8 to 12 weeks. We are in week 3, which means you still have a window, but nobody is talking about this part. During the 2022 Ukraine inflation spike, households that pre-stocked essentials spent on average $1,800 less on groceries over the following 6 months. Not by being smarter, not by earning more, just by buying things they were going to buy anyway, before the price went up. The move. This week, stock 4 to 6 weeks of non-perishable essentials: rice, pasta, canned goods, protein staples. Not panic hoarding, smart budgeting. Rule 2. Lock in your gas strategy immediately. Gas is already up 80 cents a gallon. Here is the psychological trap most Americans fall into. They complain about it, but they do not change anything. Same routes, same stations, same habits, while the price quietly bleeds them. And this is where it gets worse. 1. Fill your tank at half. Do not wait for empty. 2. Use Gas Buddy. The difference between the cheapest and most expensive station in most cities right now is 30 to 40 cents per gallon. On a 15-gallon fill-up, that is $6 saved every single time. 3. If you have a choice between driving and not driving this month, do not drive. Combine errands. Work from home when you can. Every decision you make in the next 30 days either costs you or protects you. There is no neutral. Rule 3. Understand where your job actually stands. This is the rule people skip because it is uncomfortable. Do not skip it. Every previous war that triggered a recession also triggered layoffs. Not immediately, but 6 to 12 months later. Quietly. Without warning. Here is the real problem. Ask yourself right now, is my industry sensitive to energy prices? Transportation, logistics, retail, construction, food service. These sectors feel war shocks first and fastest. Ask yourself, is my company dependent on consumer spending? When gas and groceries take more of the household budget, people stop spending on everything else. Restaurants, entertainment, travel, all of it contracts. With hiring already at its weakest level in years, a 2-point rise in unemployment would put over 3 million additional Americans out of work. Now is not the time to coast. Now is the time to become the most valuable person in your building. Rule 4. Do not panic, sell your investments. This is the rule that will save some of you from making the single most expensive mistake of your financial life. When war breaks out, when markets drop, when headlines scream, the instinct is to sell, to move to cash, to wait until it feels safe. That instinct has cost American investors trillions of dollars over 50 years, but nobody is talking about this part. Gulf War 1990, market fell, then rose nearly 100% in 3 years. Iraq War 2003, market dropped at the start, then launched into a massive bull market. Ukraine War 2022. Market fell, recovered fully within 18 months for investors who stayed. Every single time. The people who panicked and sold missed the recovery. The people who stayed built wealth while everyone else was scared. Stay invested. Keep contributing. If anything, this is historically when the seeds of the next wealth-building cycle are planted. The question is whether you will be in the ground when they grow. Every person who got rich from a war recovery was someone who did not panic when everyone else did. Rule 5. Hedge your energy exposure. Most personal finance channels will not tell you this because it sounds complicated. It is not. When oil prices rise, energy companies make more money. Their stocks go up. Which means if you own energy ETFs, rising oil prices work for you financially even as they hurt you at the pump. And this is where it gets interesting. During the 2022 Ukraine war oil spike, the energy sector rose 65% while the broader market fell 19%. Investors with even a small energy allocation saw dramatically smaller losses. The simple move: look at whether your portfolio has any energy sector exposure. If you have zero, it is worth researching whether a modest allocation makes sense for your situation. Also worth knowing, defense and aerospace stocks historically post double-digit gains in the months following major U.S. military engagements. The market always tells you where the money is moving. The question is whether you are paying attention. Your financial advisor is not worried about this war, because he gets paid whether you lose money or not. Rule 6. Protect your mortgage rate now. This one is time-sensitive, and most Americans will miss the window completely. Here is what happens every time war drives inflation. Inflation rises. The Fed responds. Rates climb. Mortgage payments jump. And anyone who was planning to buy a home suddenly cannot afford the same house they could afford last month. Here is the real problem. The 30-year mortgage rate has already moved in just 10 days. During the 2022 Ukraine inflation spike, mortgage rates doubled in 12 months. The people who locked in rates early paid 3.1%. The people who waited paid 6.7%. On a $350,000 mortgage, that difference is $630 more. Every single month. For 30 years. That is over $200,000 in extra interest. Not because the house cost more. Because they waited. If you are planning to buy in the next 6 to 12 months, your window may be closing faster than you think. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage, now is the time to seriously consider locking in. If you have high interest variable debt, pay it down aggressively now. When rates rise, that debt gets more expensive every single month you carry it. Let me leave you with exactly what to monitor so you are never caught off guard. Watch number 1, oil prices. If they stay above $100 for more than 4 consecutive weeks, grocery and utility increases are locked in. Watch number 2, the Strait of Hormuz. If it reopens, the shock eases. If it stays closed, we are in territory no modern economy has navigated. Watch number 3, the Federal Reserve. If they start talking rate increases, your mortgage and credit card costs are going up. Watch number 4, your own grocery receipt. Keep it for 8 weeks. If the same basket costs 8% more than February, you are in the full wave. Adjust your budget before it adjusts you. And this is where it gets real. The difference between people who get hurt by economic shocks and people who navigate them is almost never intelligence or income. It is almost always awareness and timing. You now have both. Let me close with 2 people. Person A heard about the Iran war on the news, complained about gas prices, scrolled past the economic articles, made no changes, waited to see what happened. 6 months from now, their grocery bill is $340 higher per month. Their electric bill jumped. They are paying $4.50 a gallon for gas. Their adjustable rate debt got more expensive twice. Their company announced a hiring freeze. Their investment account dropped, and they panicked and sold in March, missing the recovery that started in May. Here is the real difference. Person B watched a video like this one. Stocked 6 weeks of essentials before prices rose, filled their tanks strategically, made themselves more valuable at work, stayed invested, and added to their positions during the dip, locked their mortgage rate, added a small energy position that rose 40% over the next 6 months. Same war, same economy, same income. The only difference, person B understood the pattern before it completed. History does not just repeat. It repeats for the people who were not paying attention. For everyone else, wars are fought by governments. But they are always paid for by the people who were not prepared for them.